night game, primetime game. It's already. I feel like it's going to be a disappointing game, but we got the Dallas Cowboys at 3-3, heading to San Francisco, taking on the 49ers at 4-3. A lot of injuries in this game. Dallas hopefully can get relatively healthy. Micah is questionable with the ankle injury. Deron Bland should play after coming off the bye week. He was activated from the IR, I believe, about 14 days ago. So we'll see. They had 6 defensive starters out last week versus Detroit in week 7 when they got smacked. In week 6, versus Detroit. So we'll see if they get healthy. As for San Francisco, my God, it gets worse. Debo has pneumonia. Ayuk torn ACL, MCL. Hufanga hasn't played. Jawan Jennings is unlikely to play. George Kittle has an ankle sprain. Jordan Mason has got that separated shoulder. So they're just extremely banged up. McCaffrey, Achilles still.
Ricky Pearsall got shot 2 months ago in the chest.
But he did play.
He did
He's
play.
actually he is the healthiest offensive guy they have, and he got shot at the beginning.
Christian, I mentioned.
I don't mean to laugh at him getting shot, but it's just crazy. He's actually their healthiest guy. 2 months. 2 months.
Christian,
he's healthy. He's healthier than their kickers right now. Than their 2 kickers.
I mentioned
their special teams is terrible.
I mentioned it when we saw to see all these guys, start to go down for the 49ers. Guess who's coming back off of the injured reserve list is Jawan Jennings, who looks like he's going to be elevated into the wide receiver number 1 spot right behind George Kittle.
Yeah, but the hip injury, they said he's questionable right now, but I honestly don't know. I don't know if he's going to play. I would love to see him play. Shout out him. He's also quickly becoming a bulletin board favorite. Balling out, but Jesus, there's just so many injuries. Right?
Yeah, this is it's an intriguing game. I honestly, if Dallas is getting those guys back on defense, the total's at 46.5. For a night game, we normally see, a lot of steam go to overs, and then the game ends up going under. San Fran is so banged up on offense. They're banged up in the secondary a little bit as well. I believe you mentioned Hufanga being hurt. San Francisco's a 4.5-point favorite in this game, and they've got such a rash of injuries. Maybe the Cowboys come back a little healthier. Defense can maybe. I'd love to look at I know teams, after they get blown out the way the Cowboys got blown out, tend to bounce back against the spread the following week. And Dallas had the bye. I kind of like Dallas plus the 4.5 here. And honestly, an underplay as well, just with all the injuries for San Fran's offense. Now, Dallas does give up a little bit in the run game. I think we've seen teams run the football on them. So maybe Jordan Mason can get going.
But they've been terrible in the red zone.
They have been, yes, that's a great point. They have been awful in the red zone. Yeah. They have been, I think, they're probably one of the worst teams, I would imagine. They're definitely bottom 5.
Yeah.
And Turley, you were talking about one line I do kind of like for this is, just given the injuries that we've listed and, the struggles, I do kind of like the under at 26.5 for San Francisco's team total. I think it's a high line to expect almost 4 touchdowns from a team like that with
especially
the pieces that they're missing.
Red zone. Yeah. We might see a lot of field goals, especially they're going to have Matthew Wright got hurt. Who did they have? They had the Carlson, bro, Anders Carlson, right?
He missed Anders Carlson. Yep.
Oh, yeah, we were just talking about him with Green Bay a couple of years ago. Yeah, that didn't pan out. So I really like the under in this game. I think getting at the team total there, Mike, is another great way to go at it. Especially with Dallas, hopefully getting some guys back on defense.
Yeah. Now, real quick, are you seeing any cracks in Brock Purdy's armor in a sense? Like he had a pretty bad game last weekend.
He's getting sacked a lot, dude. He's getting
Do you
sacked
think
a
it's
lot.
just? Do you think it's just the cover? You think it's just the offensive line play then?
I think it's
Or
the offensive line play and
a
probably
lack of explosive skill
not
guys?
and not having the guys that you know to trust to throw the football to.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I think that's
rookies out there.
yeah,
I mean, Macon
Yeah.
Cowling and
rookies.
Pearsall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Sure.
I mean, you can't
It could be
trust.
it could be lack of separation and then just pressure also getting at him. But he has not
Sure.
been. He's he was a product of his environment, and he's once again a product of his environment, as we've said.
Yeah,
Agreed.
so Brock Purdy on the year, 1,841 yards, 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
Not numbers we saw last year.
He's
No.
been terrific at scrambling the ball. Obviously, last week was just seems like a blip, but we'll see. I do like Dallas to cover.
Yeah, I like Dallas too. I think it's Dallas and
Yeah.
under. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can get right back on track here if they win this game. Washington loses to Chicago. They're
I think
right
it's
there
also
at the top.
worth mentioning, especially if I guess the Bengals win their game against the Eagles too. I think it's worth mentioning that Dallas historically hasn't been great against San Francisco. A
Sure.
lot of drubbings in the past couple of years at the hands of San Francisco. They're going to be up for this game, Dallas.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be max motivated. And I think this is going to be their chance to kind of exact some demons, perhaps. We've obviously seen a lot of talk from Jerry Jones on radio over the last couple weeks about
Right.
the construction of the team. A lot of questions are being asked and floated around. I think the spot is awesome for the Cowboys.
Sure.
Off a bye, off of a drubbing against a team that historically has drubbed you, and that said team is super banged up. I can't think of a better spot for Dallas personally.